We're live, guys. This is episode 88. Yeah,
The
88.
big 8-8.
Yeah, we're talking about season of Yawn. So, how is everybody? How are you, Jake?
I'd be doing better if you didn't miss the D in that word, bud. I'm
Well,
only one night into the hype train and I'm hyped as fuck, dude.
wow. Okay. All right. So wait, which hyped you up more, the trailer or the reveal stream?
I think just the fact that the sundial is baby menagerie, which means that whatever happens next is probably going to be on the right track. I'm more excited
Wow,
for
that
next season
dude, that is the
already than I
most
am this
optimistic
one.
thing I've ever heard. Hey, the activity next season looks like it's almost gonna be good, so maybe next season will be better.
So we've truly reached like meta analysis of Destiny at this point
hmm
because we're always like they're doing this blue ball thing with us, right? And they've been doing it for 5 years. They're like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be it, guys, and then it's not. But we're like, okay,
Or
this is close
or
enough.
or when
So
it's not
next
it,
time it'll be it.
they're like, look, this isn't it, but we're
We're
working on
getting
it.
there.
It's gonna be, you know, back in Destiny 1 days, it was, oh, like this. I know there's no content now, but it's because we're working on Destiny 2. It's gonna fix all the problems, right?
Yeah. But this time we've achieved new levels because they're like, okay, guys, this next thing, it's not it. But I promise the thing after the next thing, this is it. We're here.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, I will say this: the sundial looks better than Vex Offensive. That's positive,
Yes.
right? So I'll
Yes.
give it that. I mean, I don't know if I'm excited about it. It'll be hopefully fun. I don't know.
Like because it's being integrated, and I guess we'll get into the artifact a little bit here in a little bit, because it's being
Yeah.
integrated with artifact, kind of like how nightmare hunts are now. If they were to do that to the menagerie and put barrier champions and other things like that in there, easily some of the best content the game has to offer. So the fact that we're going in a direction with an activity that's menagerie like and introducing the new mechanics of the artifact,
Hmm.
this has the potential, I think, to be a lot cooler than we're really ready for. Of course, it's admitting that the loot is good,
Yeah,
but
that's a big part of it. Um,
that's kind of Destiny's song and dance these days.
are,
These activities would be sick if there
is
was
the
something.
loot reskinned weapons of the prophecy weapons? Is it,
Um,
or is it just look similar themed? I couldn't tell. Like I don't, my
so
memory's not that good.
from what I recognized in the trailer, the Mercury Forge weapons are back. I don't know where we're gonna be receiving those from,
Uh,
but it looked like all of the
in
like
the sundial stream, he was using a pulse rifle that looked like a prophecy weapon.
yeah, it was the Prophecy Pulse Rifle.
Okay, I
Um,
wasn't sure.
and I'm thinking like the other weapons they were using, they were all like Saint 14 branded. They looked like Perfect Paradox, but like they just took that art style and then
Yeah.
applied it to the rest of the guns. I wonder if that will be the Sundial weapons,
Hmm.
and then the Mercury weapons will just be pulled up to year one. So like as you're doing Sundial, you can go grind the Mercury Forge and get guns that way. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure.
So Lenny asks, "Did you guys read the lore blog post for the sundial?" No, but I've never read any Destiny lore, so I'm not surprised if anybody could tell me what was interesting about it. I'd be interested to know, I guess.
I'm
Did you see it?
normally a lot I'm normally a lot better about keeping up with the lore.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing keeping me going these days. But
Yeah.
I did not read the I know they announced it like in the stream. They were like, we're gonna have a lore blog post every week until it comes out. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna go read that. And then I didn't.
So I will say this about the prophecy weapons and that perfect paradox, man. As bad as Curse of Osiris was, and like everyone gave it shit, those weapons looked really cool. I always liked them, like thematically, and some of them were even decent, like utility wise back then. I mean, there'd be nothing in this sandbox right now, but
You
I
know
would
what?
love for them to like redo some of those weapons and re-release them and be a little bit better this time around.
that hand cannon, that Jack King
Jack Queen King.
that hand cannon is still really, really good. Like the perks aren't fantastic, but it handles
Back then it was
phenomenally.
good because there wasn't a lot of 150s, but there's like a lot of other 150s to choose from now.
What do you have in the energy slot though for 150s?
Not forgotten.
Well, what do you have in the energy slot that's not forgotten?
Um, I don't know.
Oh, Waking Vigil, yeah.
Yeah, Waking
Thank you
Vigil.
guys.
That's a good point. So, uh, I don't know. It could. I hope it's like you're right. If anything, we could use more energy hand cannons.
I think we pissed Reese off.
Oh, um, Sunshot.
That's a 150?
Yeah,
I haven't tried that since they buffed it. Well, mag size upped it.
mag sized upped it, and they changed like the 150 recoil animation, so supposedly it's better
Yeah.
in
You
general.
know, I really hated that change at first, and now that I've adjusted, it's like so much better.
Yeah, because you can actually see what you're shooting at.
Yeah.
That was always my biggest criticism with Sunshot specifically. No one ever knew what I was talking about, but it just like never settled fast enough. So the thing is like, you know, and it's like,
Yeah,
uh,
it's a term that's thrown around in COD a lot is your recenter speed,
yeah.
and the gun just didn't recenter
Yeah, so you have to slow
fast.
down your rate of fire to see what you're shooting at, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, just aim, sure, dude.
Just aim, forehead. So the question is, do you think that they can do this Saint 14 thing right, or is he going to be another Osiris?
You know, if there's any character that um comes anywhere near Osiris, or I think in the deep lore surpasses Osiris in terms of how insanely badass this dude is, it's
Hmm.
probably Saint. And you can tell watching the reveal stream that the head writer of the what's his nuts, he was like the lead story dev
Hmm.
guy. He was like so excited talking about Saint 14, and
Yeah.
he straight up was like, I'm invested in this story. I wrote the perfect paradox lore tab. Like I've been looking into Saint 14 my whole time working here, and like
My whole life.
I don't Saint 14 is my whole life,
Yeah,
dude. I
yeah,
don't think that
yeah.
he was so passionate. I don't think
Oh my
he's
god.
gonna let it be bad. I don't think he's gonna let it be Osiris.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Not all of it is in one guy's control, but yeah.
I would like to think it is. Just this one time, I'd like it like just this one time.
You need a shotgun meta, Reese. I have news for you. All of Destiny, the entire history has been a shotgun meta.
Says he needs a shotgun meta, like he can't go play on Xbox, dude. Come on, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, and PvE. It's not my fault that the recluse is just better than everything. You'll
Jake
get your
is
shotgun
so
meta.
good on a podcast. Kez, get out, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing?
um, but yeah. So the only like worry I have with the Saint 14 and this plot line is like it's heavily time travel based, obviously, and once you
Mhm.
start with the time travel stuff, the plot lines kind of get really muddy. You know, it's like already confusing to understand what's going on in Destiny. So you start throwing time travel in there, and it's like, wait, wasn't this guy dead? What's going on here? Are we just gonna bring
That's
Cade back in the future? Like, where are we going with this? You know?
that's the Vex for you, man. Like more so than any other thing in Destiny, from a lore standpoint, the Vex has been the one thing I've really tried to learn much about, and it's
Hmm.
because of Vault of Glass back in the day. And we've been dealing with this time travel, people dead but not dead thing since Destiny 1. Like that's what Vault of Glass was essentially. It was Kabir and his fire team being dead but not dead.
Hmm.
And eh, like the Vex are insane. So when Osiris tells me, "Hey, the Vex are doing something crazy," regardless of how scuffed Osiris's character is, I'm like, "Okay, this is serious." Like, I don't see the Hive as the big bad ending boss for Destiny. I don't see the Cabal or the Fallen, it's the Vex. Like that is the most present threat, and they have a planet-sized computer in our solar system. So I'm excited that we're getting more Vex, because anytime they do Vex stuff, I'm like, let's go. It's time to go.
Yeah, and I mean, Hex is saying that like time travel's always been a thing. I remember that from Vault of Glass a little bit, but it just seemed like isolated incidences instead of it being wrapped into like an entire season's plot line like this. So
Yeah, I'm curious, like what their mentality was switching from the Grimoire system over to putting it in the game. I think what ended up happening was they realized we have so much stuff written down.
and
We're
it's
gonna put
not
it in the
even really
game.
in the game. It's like not like all the way in the game, you know?
Yeah.
Because you still get
Well,
all these blog posts and stuff that like I mean everyone's talking about right now, and no one who plays the game would know about that probably, you know?
well, that's the thing. You yourself are someone you don't take the time to go read the
Yeah.
lore and to look into stuff, and you're a competent player and you're a dedicated player, and
Yeah.
you're still like, I don't really know what the fuck is going on right now.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. It's weird like being such an enthusiast about this game and knowing almost nothing about the universe. It's just it doesn't feel right to me for them to be like it's on you to know things about this. Like that's the attitude to me is like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to know about this, then go out of your way. Like I would do that if the story already had hooks in it that made me want to do that, but the story is just so vanilla that I don't even ever pay attention to what's going on. You know, you go through the story and it's like just run from point A to point B. That's all I really know that I'm ever doing in Destiny. And kill a boss here and there.
It my first like realization that what I was doing meant so much more was Bife's videos about King's Fall
Mm.
and the Books of Sorrow, because he's like using lore terms to describe raid mechanics, and I'm like, wait a second, that's like what that means?
Mm.
Oh my god, that's like so smart. There's no way this is how the whole game is. And then I'm watching more Bife, and he's like, yeah, this is how the whole game is. Like it doesn't seem like the mechanics you're doing, the A to B means anything,
Right.
but it really does if you know your lore.
Mm.
And like that was at a time when I was ready to cop out on Destiny, like way back in D1,
Right.
and watching that and like coming back into the world with a new perspective on how the universe is put together, it sucked me in for a lot longer than I think would have otherwise happened.
Interesting.
And that's if you I would say if you had the time, read a couple lore tabs here and there, man. Like
Yeah.
like go through some of the big stuff. Like if you haven't read through the Books of Sorrow or like watched through anything, that if that doesn't get you hooked on the lore, I don't think anything else will.
Hmm. And Lenny, it's not just about the fans and generators, okay? You gotta remember, deploy the ghost, fight off waves of enemies. That's the number one key mechanic of Destiny.
Defend the area.
Open the door, ghost.
I live in your backpack and open doors.
Yeah.
I love that they self-acknowledge it sometimes.
And you know what's funny is like that's like one of the biggest critiques of Destiny, and then like other games come out and like do the exact same thing. Like Anthem, dude. That was one of the things in Anthem. Like that's what you chose to copy from Destiny was sit here and like fight off waves of enemies while the door opens. Oh my god.
Come on, guys. You had 4
7
years
years.
of 4 years of Destiny to look
Oh,
at the
yeah,
time
yeah.
for inspiration, and you decided to take the stuff that didn't work.
To be fair, they didn't know
Tough
what
boys.
kind of game they were making until 6 years into the development cycle, so then it was like, oh crap, we have to release this game in like 3 months. We better do something.
Yeah, they're the whole time BioWare's like, yeah, this is gonna be cool, man. Like it's
Yeah.
just a bunch of bros hanging around. Yo, dude, this game is sick. And then
It's
their
like
boss came
Mario
in, like,
Party, dude.
yeah, the boss
That's what
came
kind of
in,
game
they're
will.
like, yo, we gotta release this, guys. They're like, I'm
Oh,
sorry, what did you just say?
dude, the funniest thing about that whole development cycle that I read was like, you know how everyone's always like, oh, EA probably ruined the game. Like one of the inside points that Jason Schreier made was that BioWare was so unsure of what kind of game that they were making that they had actually stripped flying out of the game, and EA was like, "Yo, the flying is the only good part of the game. You have to put it back in." And so they put it back in, and that legitimately is the only part of the game that is like enjoyable at all.
I can't imagine
Anthem without
Anthem
flying.
without flying. Like, we think we're playing a running simulator now.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
Oh
It
my
might as well
God.
have just been like Mirror's Edge 3 at that point. Your guns, you don't have guns in Anthem. I'm convinced there are no guns. You just fly. There are no enemies. There's no end game content. You fly.
So, the sundial. If you guys haven't seen the stream, it's basically like Jake said, the Menagerie Light, and it actually even brought back like the ticker. So they brought back like the progress meter or whatever, and I'm guessing like you're gonna have to go through 2 encounters perfectly, just like the Menagerie, and then a big boss fight at the end. Based
They
on the
did say
roadmap,
specifically you can't fail.
yeah, you can't fail, but you'll probably have to do more encounters if you don't do as well, so it'll take longer. Um, and it looks like, based on this roadmap, that there's going to be, I guess, 3 different unique bosses. So, like, the first one says the Sky Piercer when it launches or whatever. And then the Sun Eater, and then there's a Legend Sundial. So maybe there's only 2. Oh, never mind. It's Inotim, Oblivion's Triune.
There's a boss on launch day 2. There's Nirul the Hollow Voice. So we're getting 4 different bosses,
Okay.
which is up from Menagerie, and then
Oh yeah, because
on
there's
the
only 3.
on on the 7th we'll be getting what I'm assuming is equivalent to Heroic Menagerie.
Right.
So I'm curious to see what I'm assuming we're gonna get another exotic catalyst they're gonna throw in there. Um, Reskin Mercury swords, guys. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does definitely look better than Vex Offensive. If nothing else, there's more bosses, so that's good. And then it looks like, how many, I forget, they did say during that stream that there would be a certain number of unique encounters leading up to it, and I can't remember how many, but
4, 5.
but that's
maybe?
better than Vex Offensive was literally just like kill ads and shoot these like things in the air, you know? That was great.
I feel like if they just would have put Vex Offensive in the Infinite Forest and just let it procedurally generate, like, or not, I guess the Infinite Forest doesn't procedurally generate, but it feels like it does.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they just would have made it randomized, it would have been worlds better.
If they just would have
it being
had,
the same thing on rails every time, like that
I
wasn't
think it's
okay.
those unique mechanics that kept the menagerie fresh. Like, because each time it was like, okay, this time we get the sword one, this time we get the one where you have to defend the 3 bastions or whatever. And so it was like a little bit different each time you did it, more repeatable rather than just like kill Vex enemies and then shoot things in the air every single time. So
Yeah, I'll give Vex Offensive one thing. The first 2 runs was really cool.
and then I stopped playing.
And then that was it.
Yeah. And I never even did the Undying Mind, but apparently the Undying Mind is like the story catalyst that leads to all this stuff, so
Yeah.
that's something to know.
Gameplay wise,
I wish this kind of stuff was
letdown.
don't you wish like that kind of stuff was captured better in game? It seems like there was people in a meeting room who were like, "Yo, this is going to be awesome. The final thing of the season of the Undying is going to be that the Undying Mind comes out and it's going to be the catalyst to start the next season." But they did not capture that in game whatsoever. They're just like telling us that that's the case. What is that?
That's kind of like that's a show don't tell thing, right? Like
Yeah.
when Gaul came, he didn't say, "I'm an evil turtle monster.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal your traveler." He showed up, he did it, and he kicked you off a cliff.
Or even worse, like Bungie just like writing it on their website. By the way, Gaul's the bad guy. Did you it's like what?
And even then, like in the trailers, like they took the time to make the pop shots, calling him Gary and shit, but like
Yeah.
Undying Mind apparently is one of the most powerful Vex mines we've ever seen because it dying broke Mercury.
Right.
It broke time.
Yeah. So much so that you can use your Sparrow on Mercury now.
Oh, best change. Best change in the whole update. My first knee jerk reaction was, oh god, more Mercury. Here we go. And then he pulled a Sparrow out. I was like, okay, it's gonna be it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be
Yeah, I
okay.
actually like. I mean, I like the aesthetics of Mercury, so having a Sparrow, it'll be perfectly fine. Won't make
Spectre,
me hate that so much.
you did teabag the corpse of a Time Lord, bro.
There you go. That's what did it.
Attaboy.
All right, let's
It's
talk
Spectre's fault. He did this.
sandbox changes for a little bit here.
Let's do it.
So we got some videos, and they're all of the hunter changes here. The first one was the trapper. It's gonna be top tree hunter, and basically, if you want to set up a trap in like a tight corridor, you can throw a trip mine and a throwing knife, and it'll one shot them when they walk through it. So that's pretty cool.
The clip of watching him go, phew, phew, and
Yeah.
backing off like, come at me, dude. That might have been my favorite clip of all three. It's just a set it, forget it. I'm super into that.
I actually saw the Bungie dev who captured that gameplay, reposted the clip, and he said that it's the first time he's ever played Hunter to capture that footage.
Oh my god.
And so somebody asked him, well, what class do you normally play? And he said Warlock, and I replied in there, I said, of course. I mean, they put it in the Bungie job requisites that you have to play Warlock, as you do, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
of
obvious.
course. I mean, you know what? Even Commander Zavala himself plays Warlock. So
That's true. Lance, can't remember his last name, Reddick or something like that.
yep, he's a Warlock main.
Um,
What a guy.
the next one was this new knock 'em down perk, and they didn't really show what I expected them to with like the ADS speed. They showed like the buff that it gives to golden gun, so you get a precision kill, and the way it works is it stacks up and gives you more and more of a buff, but it increases your ADS speeds and your stability. So that's really awesome for gunplay. Well, that's the part I'm excited for this perk.
Yeah.
But also, when you have stacks built up, if you cast Golden Gun, it gives you a damage buff to your Golden Gun, but it doesn't work for Celestial Nighthawk.
Right.
I'm wondering if those 3 shots are going to be worth more than a single Celestial Nighthawk, though.
Well, if it's a 2x buff with what's you just said the name of the thing.
Knock 'em down.
Knock 'em down. Then it will be equivalent to a Nighthawk because Nighthawk is just 6 times on top of your one shot.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll make it equivalent, but they don't really have a history of doing 2 times multipliers for damage on stuff.
Well, when they show it in this walker, like I don't know what the base damage is, so it's hard to tell, but they show this walker and it does 1.2 damage. So or 1.2 million damage.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. But
I think if I remember correctly, the clip has the walker's health at like a third, and then he 2-taps it.
mm,
So I mean, not running Celestial, that gives you some big damage.
yeah.
But why else would you be running Golden Gun?
Yeah. Yeah, you want
to not run Celestial. Like,
right.
There's no other exotics. Like, I don't think they missed that point. Is we're gonna buff this so people don't use Celestial, but there's no other exotic to run for your gunslinger.
Well, except Phidias Spath now. You get if you want to be a throwing knife god.
I don't even know if like the heavy knife is really gonna be worth a shit to throw in PvE.
Yeah, probably not.
Unless it like one taps majors, which it's absolutely not going to.
Yeah.
Or maybe it will. Who knows? Just be
I don't
chucking
know.
knives at big thick boys, man.
Yeah, like taking out captains and stuff like that. But they're just gonna teleport, dude. You're not gonna hit them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Assassin's Cowl. That's gonna be interesting too. So oh yeah, so the last part of it is the new weighted throwing knives, and they show a clip of basically two different throwing knife kills. Still works the same way, where Knife Juggler gives you back your knife if you get a precision kill, but now it's a one-shot ability. It has a wind up, but it's not nearly as intense as I was expecting. It's almost instant. It's basically just like, like he throws it back, boom. Not like, bah.
Like
Like,
slingshot it kind of.
yeah, it's pretty quick release. Honestly, it's not like handheld supernova or anything like that.
I know you
Um,
haven't, gotten on the sticks with it yet, but have you? How do you feel about the velocity looking at it? You think it's going to be quick enough? Think it's going to be?
so watching this footage, it's hard to tell, but it looks faster to me. What do you think? Do you think it looks faster? Like
Let me.
I can't really tell, without side by sides, but and like is there motion blur? Is this 30 FPS? I don't know, but it looks faster than what I'm used to. So I
So
hope.
at the ranges you're throwing it at,
Yeah.
it looks like you've got about like a at most a second of travel time. It looks like it's moving at the same speed a handheld does.
So I mean, it'll take some playing with. The faster the velocity, the easier it'll be to use on mouse and keyboard. The slower, the harder it's going to be to lead. Especially the hard part to tell about this is like these people aren't strafing; they're running straight. So obviously that's a lot easier to hit
Yeah.
somebody in the head. The slightest amount of strafe, and like this becomes an impossible thing on mouse and keyboard, but on controller it'll just curve to the left or right. So that becomes like the unfair thing. And I've always said like they should just put the same amount of aim assist on these knives for mouse and keyboard as they have for controller to keep it even. But if the velocity's fast enough, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah. Well, even then, like even if it's just something you can use on people holding W, like it's a one shot. Somebody rushes you with a shotty from around the corner, and especially if you can pre-aim it and you stick that knife and your timing's good, it's gonna shut people down. Like,
Yeah.
and at that point, if they're strafing left and
Except
right
the
really
Destiny
hard,
netcode is going to be like, oh yeah, you knifed him, but then he still got the shoulder charge off somehow.
wits, hey, asshole.
I like that this gives strength some utility though.
Yeah. The only other like strength utility I've ever seen is with warlocks and the sunbracers, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in the entire game actually using those gauntlets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see another class that's going to have just a punch ability that's not worthless. I'm interested to see how the warlock melee pans out with like the fireball
Yeah.
nonsense. It looked like it was tracking really hard in the
Yeah.
sundial gameplay, so I'm worried about it.
I don't think it's gonna be like that much damage though.
Yeah,
It looked like a little bit of damage, like because it's just such a big like it looks like such a big pellet spread style thing. It's not even tracking. It's just like a big area of effect. So I expect
yeah,
it to like hit things easily, but not necessarily do that much damage. They didn't show PvP, obviously, so. But it wasn't even killing those PvE mobs. Like, it was just, like, tacked on top of other stuff that they were throwing and whatnot.
yeah.
So, uh, we got, oh yeah, so the artifact, in the stream, they showed it a little bit, and, they didn't show us the unique abilities except for one. But they like some of the core changes I like. So now, like to get some of the benefits from these things, you're gonna have to sacrifice things. Like one of the things said, I think -10 discipline or something like that.
Hmm.
So there's trade-offs now. That's a good change in my opinion. They've adjusted the costs of some of the ones that are returning.
Yeah.
But Reese is going to be mad about this, and a lot of people, and I'm not too happy to see it return either. But it looks like Void Battery is going to be a thing. So,
We did it, boys. We made
I
it.
mean,
Well,
that's
we
going to
we called
be,
this last time I was on here with Kez. It's gonna
yeah,
be Void Battery.
yeah. Yeah, I mean they didn't do that with every single thing. Like I didn't see like an oppressive darkness in there or an oppressive arc or anything like that.
Right.
Um, but that one I definitely saw the symbol. They didn't hover over it, but the cost of energy is still the same. We don't know if the perk is adjusted at all, but I don't know what else they could possibly do with that. So
I'm hoping that we really get some stuff under the hood that's changing with these perks. As fun as oppressive darkness is, and as admittedly busted that battery and thundercoil are,
yeah,
they should have had plenty of time to realize, okay, this is not functioning as intended. Like this is being crutched. Like that's Bungie's problem, is that they keep giving us like these mods, like these weapons, they're super like unique, but then I don't think they realize it's because they're unique because they're abusable. Like stuff
yeah.
can be strong without being abusable, and they
Hmm.
keep giving us these abusable things and going, oh, we didn't think people were gonna do that. I think Bungie almost thinks too highly of its player base. No, they won't abuse this.
Or they,
We will.
I don't think that they think in terms of how they can abuse something. You know, they just think in terms of like something at face value.
Yeah.
So, I mean, personally, I'm not going to be playing Void. I'm definitely more excited to play Golden Gun, especially now that it has actual gun perks. That's my big thing. It's like I just want to
Yeah.
invest into all gun perks in those and be able to play like that and just have maximum gun skill. That'd be great. I saw a lot of the perks revolve around long range weapons, so sniper, there's some sniper mods in there, which is nice.
They showed
Um,
off that mod that gives you like pools of healing on
mhm.
long range weapon precision kills.
Orbs, yeah, I don't know. So what it like that seems ironic because it's an orb of healing on a long range precision kill. Does it drop by the body? Because then you gotta run all the way over there to get it, and you'll already have
Oh,
full health. So
if it doesn't drop on you,
yeah. Then
then
what is the point of it? You'll never make it over there to pick it up. I don't know.
well, I can already see this is where they're going. You're fighting a big group of enemies with
Yeah,
your scout rifle. Ting, ting, ting. You get down to
yeah,
the last guy, and he gets you really hurt, and you barely kill him, and you run over just in time to get the healing.
yeah.
Come on, guys.
It'll never work.
Come on,
um.
guys.
So yeah, all right. So there's some like patch notes preview stuff here, and we did learn about some other stuff we didn't know was going to happen. So first and foremost, thank God the Anarchy's getting buffed to 10%. We knew that was coming, but here it is in the
I'll believe it when I see it
yeah right.
in my inventory.
Yeah.
Come on.
So gonna have to run that some more. I'm never gonna have all the exotics. I just want to have a complete collection. Exotic Engram and Faded Engram have been collapsed into a new single exotic Engram item. So I think that means that any exotic Engram you get is now gonna be guaranteed to be what you're missing, right?
Well, I wonder if they're talking about in the world or just with Xur, because exotic engrams can drop anywhere, but you can only get faded engrams from Xur. Do they like drop everywhere now, or
Well, it's saying
what's
they've
going
been
on there?
collapsed into a single item now. So
Yeah,
when open, it awards a new exotic if any remain to be collected. Otherwise, it's a random piece of armor. So you won't get repeat weapons anymore because they're pointless. That's good.
excellent.
Um, contents are still class specific, so you got to be on the class you're looking to finish your collection on.
I like that. It's a good change.
The light level's
And if
going up. I was surprised to see this at first, but I thought about it a little bit, and it makes more sense. So there's no raid or anything to grind for. It's going up by 10. Basically, the new power cap is going to be 960. The new pinnacle cap is going to be 970. So what this does is basically makes it so to get back to where you were the previous season, you have to grind less of your artifact because otherwise it's going to feel like your power has just been nerfed for no
yeah,
reason. So I think this is a system to compensate for that, and it's also I did the math. It's 960 this season. If we're just looking at the power cap, it'll be 970 next season, and then the final season before whatever next big expansion will be 980. So it'll give players in the final season who don't do raids or any pinnacle activities, it'll give them 980 to give them a chance to run the 980 Nightfalls and whatever else they might want to attempt without having to grind raids and stuff like that. So
I wonder if we're going to end this. Well, seeing I have more to say about the power cap because it's interesting to me. But I wonder if we continue this trend of raising it by 10. If the last thing we get from this seasonal content thing
yeah,
is going to be something of like 1,000 light level, how crazy would that be?
I don't. I think it's gonna stay 980. I mean, maybe the seasonal, like
Like
maybe
the season finale,
right.
almost like the very last thing. You got to be 1,000 to get in here, kid. Like that'd be a cool moment in Destiny. Finally broke 1,000 power cap, dude. That'd be cool.
I don't know about you. I never got plus 20 this season on my artifact.
I think I capped out around like 14,
Yeah.
13, 14, something like that. I didn't care enough to go grind it. Like, cool bounties, bud. Let's go.
Yeah, I think I was like plus 16 or 17, something like that.
Yeah.
But so to get 1,000, if it goes up by 10 every time, you're talking about plus 20.
Which is what
Yeah.
people are hitting already. So
I mean, there's people who hit 1,000 already this season.
Now.
Yeah, those people are nuts. By the way, plus 40. I don't even know. Like, you never stopped playing once. That's insane.
I think Bagel talked about it. He was like, "Yeah, I'd get on. I'd go run bounties in lost sectors, and that was what I did."
To lose it, like, forget that. No.
Dude, it's a flex, man. It's
Yeah,
cool.
it is.
He's got a whole lore post
It
about
it
him
paid
on
off for him
Murphy.
because now people know who he is, I guess.
Yeah, he's canon now. By the way,
Yeah, that's true.
Bagel,
Yeah.
he's canon in the lore. That's hilarious to me.
What is the fascination with Escalation Protocol? This is like been updated multiple times now. Like, are people really like grinding that armor hard? What is the
Now that I have the ability to just get in there and bang the armor set out, I'm absolutely getting it on all three
what is so
characters.
special about the armor?
It looks sick.
Is that it?
Yeah. Welcome to Destiny, bud.
I don't understand. Like, is there a utility to this at all?
I don't know. It looks cool.
I've never
Welcome to
seen them
Destiny.
like go back and patch something super old like this.
Maybe
Unless there's a reason people use it.
Oh, you know what? In the calendar.
Yeah, no kidding that people collect them, Kez, but like you don't see them going back and updating like the faction rally armor or the trials armor. Like they don't care about that kind of stuff usually. So why this? Like usually, unless it's something people need for a particular activity, they don't care to update old things.
So they mention in the calendar that on launch day, the Tangled Shore and Mars obelisks are open, and on week 2, the Nessus and EDZ obelisks are open. And we have no clue what these are, but I wonder if them changing the escalation protocol armor has anything to do with this obelisk MacGuffin we've been thrown. I'm curious to see if it ties in at all. And
Guffin.
I think mostly like the escalation protocol armor change, like this is needed to happen for a long time. Even if the armor doesn't do anything, the whole point of armor 2.0 was, hey, you like that armor set? Go get it, dude. Like go grind it out. Go get your stats. Go get your cool looking armor. So this needed to happen, and I don't even necessarily know if I want to die on the hill of, oh well, there's no point in doing it. It's something to go do, which is something we desperately need. When I was running escalation to get the shotgun, I was having a blast. Escalation's awesome. So another chance to get in there and grind it. It'll give me a chance to get the sniper and the SMG, and it'll also give me the armor set. And maybe there's a chance because it's not a high power activity, but it's a high tier activity once you get up to tier 7. So maybe the armor will drop with good stats. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like people were interested in this for some reason. Like, There was something to it that I wasn't realizing. Because I've just never seen them go back and update something that seems irrelevant like that before.
Maybe it's a sign of things to come. Maybe they'll be revitalizing more areas of the game like that.
Yeah.
Tune in next season.
Quality of life change. Weapon mods are only going to cost 500 glimmer to apply now instead of 5,000. I didn't really think they were too expensive, but I guess people are swapping them out more often than I am. But
I sure that bothered somebody somewhere.
yeah.
I still have ships in my vault to dismantle for glimmer, and I've been at max cap since Shadowkeep came out. So
Some bounty stuff that they fixed. You can read about that. I don't think we need to go line by line through that thing. But here's some other stuff non-solar related that they're changing about subclasses. Thunder Crash is getting a base damage increase 2,700 to 3,200. In-flight damage from 100 to 200. What does that mean?
apparently, it means that while you're flying around, you can smack shit in the air and like run into it, which I guess would have been useful at any point if Destiny had flying enemies, but it doesn't. So
So
I don't
like
know.
that's an
I
extra
guess it.
200 damage on top of the 3,200 you get for impacting them, or
I'm thinking like what they want this to go is you're flying towards a thing, you hit it, and then you hit the ground.
okay.
Um,
I
but
like that they increase the amount of time you can fly. So like that gives you a little more control over it. That's cool.
is Thunder Crash like Top Tree Striker Titan, where the farther down you fall, the more damage it does, or does it just do it flat?
I think it's just flat. Well, no,
Okay.
because it says 2,700 to 3,200, so that must be the range. Like the longer you're in the air, that's the only thing I can think of.
Well, they mean the base damage
Oh, they
before was
changed it.
27, and
Yeah,
now it's
yeah,
32. Yeah.
yeah. You're right. So no, yeah, it's a flat amount for impact. Um,
Cool. Thunder Crash is a super that exists, I suppose.
yeah. Uh, It's always cool when you see it used, but it just doesn't seem that useful.
I mean, like the subclass tree has some cool neutral game options
Yeah.
for PvP. Like you can slide over sniper ammo and body people. That's cool.
My favorite
Um,
thing about Thunder Crash was Gambit. You know, when they're all fighting the boss, if you just like fly across
yeah.
the map and hit them all at once with that, that is like the pinnacle of what that super's for. But Gambit sucks, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah. That's
Uh,
at least we're not getting a Gambit season.
oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Um,
if they do another Gambit season, I'm out. I'm a COD streamer at that point. Sorry, boys.
right. So Vanish and Smoke, just a quality of life change. Basically, it's gonna have a 0.8 second grace period, so that if you throw it at your teammate, they'll know they're invisible before they cancel it by accident. That's cool. I don't know that that's gonna change much, but
I
hey,
mean, like I've complained about that in the past, but not from a sense of this needs to be changed. It's
yeah,
more of
yeah.
like, oh, I had invisibility and I wasted it. Oh, okay, cool. Like I never really thought that
It
was an
also could have been
issue.
fixed by your teammate just being like, "I'm throwing an invisibility smoke at you."
Yeah, hey, you smoke, dude. Okay,
Yeah.
don't shoot or punch or breathe. Just chill. Hold on.
This I'm not sure exactly what this means. Handheld supernova adjusted grenade charge time so it lines up with the animations and effects. This should make it feel more consistent. Is that a nerf or a buff?
It is a fix. It is neither a nerf or a buff. And as somebody that crutches on Supernova and high sweat PvP games, there was like a split second of a frame where you like collapsed your grenade
Yeah.
and it did the hey, I'm collapsed and ready to go, but you went to throw it and it just didn't do anything. I
Oh.
noticed it more specifically with controverse hold where it's a faster charge time on your thing,
Oh,
but
okay.
sometimes it just would not register. So if this fixes that and I stop throwing vortex grenades behind people, that's going to be great.
So, but I mean, good luck crutching that without oppressive darkness anymore, you know?
It's still one bangs, man. I'll do it right. And even then, if you hit half your burst, they're half shields, one tap.
Yeah.
I didn't use it, but before you specifically told me that it stacked with
Right.
um Oppressive Darkness. I wasn't using Oppressive Darkness. I was still one banging people all over the place with
It
it.
just increases the range, and you don't have to hit as many of those projectiles. So,
Yeah.
and if you do have to follow up a shot, then that's also doing more damage. So,
Yeah.
the best change in this entire blog post right here. Number 1, added rusted lands. Okay, cool. I don't know if we're getting any other maps,
I don't think
but
so.
rusted lands, that's a great one. So, great.
It's back, boys.
Dead Cliffs is back. So I guess they fixed the spawns in that. If they put it back in the same way, I'm going to be mad they ever took it out in the first place. I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Legion's Gulch is back. Retribution's back. Solitude's back. Removed. Emperor's Respite, Equinox, Firebase Echo, Vostok. No more Crucible playlists. No more. They're all gone. The only one in there that like I kind of like is Emperor's Respite, but it depends on the game mode. But the other three can go to hell.
For 66, Respite is a train wreck. But for like survival and I guess Elim now, because that's coming back, like it's a cool map. It's got some cool pieces in it to play around with.
The only game mode I ever hated Respite in was Countdown, just because the way the spawns worked and stuff like that. You were just like being inside was so advantageous. But
the angles for bomb watching on Respite is they're definitely funky. Like you don't have a whole lot of area to like if you are defending the bomb, I feel like you're at a significant disadvantage.
So I think with these 3 being taken out, they are definitely like the biggest problems, like everyone has always complained about. Now Citadel is going to be the new one for people to bitch about.
I like Citadel.
Do you?
Yeah, like it's not the greatest map of all time, but
Citadel and the PS4 exclusive Reef thing. I think that's going to be.
I didn't even bother to learn the name of that map. I just leave. We're backing out, boys.
Those are going to be the complaining ones. Yeah, Gambler's Ruin.
Thank you, Spectre.
Yep. So I'm happy about that change, man. I've been playing a lot of Classic Mix, and it pisses me off because Supremacy, obviously, Equinox came up still.
Yeah.
And my only thing to combat it was to throw in a Randy's.
Randy's is so good, dude.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm glad in the time of doing it, I was like, this scout rifle is not going to be worth it, and I'm so glad I did it.
Speaking of Randy's, do you think we're going to get ritual weapons next season?
I mean, I don't see how they could not at this point.
Yeah, that would be a real kick in the balls if they didn't do that.
It would be a kick in the teeth among kicks in the teeth, like. But at the same time, they haven't
showed anything off.
Showed anything, so they haven't even.
It's
said
3 weapons.
About it.
Bungie, if we can't achieve 3 weapons for a new season, there's a problem with the content production.
Boys, you did 3 weapons for the altar.
Right?
Come on, what's 3 more? Where's my Imago loop from Undying Mind, guys? What's happening over there? Is everything okay? Anybody hurt?
There's a long blog post in here about Eververse. They want to be more transparent. They're going to be telling you which items are not going to be sold for Bright Dust so that you know ahead of time and you're not waiting for certain things.
Something that's not going to come.
Right. So that's cool. And they said they also want to change the amount of stuff that's offered. They said only 50% of the content was offered for Bright Dust. They want it to be 80%. That's admirable.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's admirable. Yeah. They say some stuff about the Bright Dust economy. You can read into the finer details. Eververse has had the cooler looking stuff. I'm really excited about the season pass. Like, I don't think I'll need to spend money because the season pass armor ornaments look sick. Saint 14 themed stuff. The Hunter's Knight in Shining Armor look, like, I think I'm gonna be rocking that for sure.
That Titan armor looks.
The only thing I can say is like the Warlock playing Sundial looked like a Titan because he literally had the Saint 14 helmet on, and I was like, is that a mask? Like, that looks like a fucking Halloween mask. Like, he shouldn't be wearing that, dude.
They're gonna stop you from duplicate purchasing. That's cool.
Yeah,
It'll
that
like tell you
kind
in
of
the
that's kind of one
store.
of those things that falls into the category of thanks, but this should have been always the case, you know.
You know what's hilarious to me about Eververse
What?
is that it gets, if not, probably not more complaints, but like complaints on par with other really major issues in the game. And Eververse has been one of the more consistent good things for like all of Destiny except one Festival of the Lost that like got way out of hand. So I'm glad that even though the store is in a good place right now as far as not taking advantage of the player base,
Mm.
they seem to just be like, yeah, it's good now, but we want it to get better. If only their mentality was like that for the rest of the game. If they treated the rest of the game like they treat Eververse right now,
Well, I
oh man,
think that like a lot they probably wouldn't be this vigilant about it if the content was in a better place. I think what they're trying to avoid is being like, "Hey guys, light on the content. We don't have the dev time for it, but here's a bunch of Eververse stuff." That would look so bad,
exactly,
you know?
exactly.
So that's why I think they're giving it extra attention because they don't want the optics and perception to be, "Hey, we don't have time to work on the game, but we have time to work on Eververse." That would be not good.
Yeah. And it is still just cosmetics, which I can't say for most other games that came out of the woodwork going, "Hey, it's just cosmetics." Ha, no, it's not, nerd. Sorry,
The
not today.
season pass is not just cosmetics, to be fair, but
No,
that's like
but
a
that's
separate thing.
fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone's complaining about Blue Perfect or Ariana's Vow.
Yeah,
Like,
or exotics that are pretty easy to get now.
yeah.
Speaking of Ariana's Vow, you better get it before the season ends because it seems like this is going to go into the category of like the Sunshot Catalyst, where they might not have an alternate way to get it for a while. I'm not
Hmm.
doing that Catalyst quest, dude. Fuck that.
Even with the triple boost from the
Yeah.
past, like, dear lord, it takes forever. What does the catalyst even do? Is it even worth getting?
Yeah, it's mag size.
Yeah, nope.
Uh,
Not today.
Yeah, so I won't be doing that. Joined up, did you talk about Lucky's video? I don't even know what you're talking about. Elaborate, please. So the stuff that's going away, just to summarize, so that you know if you want to do this within the next couple days before it goes away. Ariana's Vow Catalyst, Vex Offensive, Gate Lord's Eye, Seasonal Artifact, which is not really a thing to do, but it's a thing that exists. Power
Yep.
bonuses, and season-specific triumphs like Undying. So, go to his Twitter.
Uh, a lot of people early on, and Lona was one of the big proponents of this that I heard talking about it. Was that he was pretty convinced that Nightmare Hunts was going to go away because he was under the impression it was a seasonal thing. But
Mm-hmm.
now that they have told us specifically what is going away, we have a definite criteria for next season of knowing, okay, this is what we need to grind now. Because I was worried about missing out on the Nightmare Hunt stuff, and now that I know that I don't need to get it done immediately, I can go back in later and do it. Um, so I'm glad that they're like, hey, we're taking this stuff out, and it hasn't been up in arms. And whether that's because we were prepared for that or the content just sucks and we don't care that it's going,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a good sign from the community for not ripping its pieces because we normally do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It looks like Lucky's thing is just a meme about the response to the reveal. So I started to watch it, but I'll watch the rest of that later, Jack.
Was there a negative response to the reveal?
Oh man, you live under a rock.
Yeah, I've been under a rock the last couple days, man.
Well, so I'll say this was pretty much how Twitter went. The trailer got everybody hyped up, and then the reveal. I think, look, the community just has different expectations from what Bungie like. So that basically, a couple things happened. First of all, this is my biggest criticism of like what Bungie's been doing. They have said the words renewed focus on PvP like a million times, And I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
that means, but like that has not happened, and it doesn't seem to be happening. And I don't know what they're actually doing, like other than putting elimination back in the game. Okay, that being said,
Renewed focus, new mode, new map. Get
right?
us going.
Yeah, not even new, not new mode, old mode.
Old mode, old map. Let's
Yeah,
go, boys.
yeah. But anyway, so when Season of Dawn got announced, and it was Osiris themed. And then Damage put out this cryptic tweet that said things about Soul and blah blah blah. And so Lono and other people in the community and Paul Tassi wrote articles, and everybody said Trials is coming back. That's what happened. Everybody said Trials is coming back. I said when this happened, like, no, like don't get your hopes up. This is Bungie we're talking about. Like they will let you down if you build up these expectations. And so when the reveal happened, everybody was pissed that Trials didn't get showcased. Like that's what everybody was waiting for, and all they showed off was the sundial, and so people went ape shit about it.
I I think Trials is a lot closer than people think. And I know people are like, just give it to us now.
Hmm.
But I'm definitely not gonna put my eggs in that basket and get hyped and be one of the guys that's like, oh, it's coming back for sure. Like, oh my god, it's here, guys. Like, we're gonna do it. But
Hmm.
I think we could see it next season. Or maybe even towards the end of this season. They just
I'm
drop it.
just gonna wait for them to announce that it's coming out before I even speculate, because I don't know when they started working on it, if they started working on it. I don't know what they're doing with PvP, what their plan is for the future, because it seems like their only plan is to introduce seasonal artifact mods that are going to change PvP. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because the meta stays largely the same every
I
season.
I really feel like the issue with the reveal trailer, and as somebody watching it that is kind of burned out at the moment, that hasn't been keeping up with the game every day of every moment of the week, like they really did set expectations with Shadowkeep. They said, hey, this is an anomaly, this is a full DLC,
Mm.
the season content is going to be lighter. And you could tell from the way they worded that they knew that the community was not going to accept that. And the
Hmm.
community at first could have been like, oh no, of course we get it, like not a problem. And then they actually get the thing that they paid for, and they're like, oh, this is not what I paid for. I paid $10 for this.
And
Like,
that's another thing I've been talking about is the like value proposition of Season of Undying on its own was actually not that great, because like it gets muddied by the fact that Shadowkeep was lumped in with it, but
mm-hmm.
they made it an option, which was weird. Unlike Forsaken, with Forsaken Season of Outlaw, you couldn't buy that separately.
No, yeah.
Season of Undying you could buy for $10 without buying Shadowkeep, which is a weird purchase because all you would have gotten is the season pass and Vex Offensive, which is not worth $10 at all, in my opinion. I mean that's pretty weak. You wouldn't have got the dungeon, you wouldn't have got the raid, you wouldn't have got the story.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would have been doing this whole time, and you'd probably be pretty unhappy with that purchase. So they shouldn't have offered that. I hope that this season is at least better than that in terms
I
of value.
Well, the fact that we're getting an activity that it very much so proves that they do parallel development, which they've said before and people have debated it. But the sundial being the way it is proves that they develop stuff alongside each other, and that
Yeah.
they take gambles on stuff that they don't know if it's going to work. That's why we had Ada's bounties the way they were, and then
Hmm.
we had Menagerie the way it was with the Chalice. So I I think that because of this parallel development, Season of the Undying was lighter on content because Shadowkeep was happening.
Right.
We had stuff to go do in the big DLC, and I feel like they put the season out there.
They shouldn't have
Not
sold it separately. It doesn't make any
they shouldn't have
sense.
sold it separately. But my mentality with it is like a battle pass typically costs ten
Yeah.
bucks anywhere else. So
Right.
in my mind, that $10 is just for the experience of having a battle pass, not necessarily the things in it, but there's a disconnect. I'm getting off track a little bit. Sorry. The disconnect is Bungie set these expectations for guys. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be lighter. There's gonna be less things to do because
like with the battle pass itself, if you're saying that's worth $10, like think about what other games offer. It's like a lot of skins and stuff. We basically get
I'm with you.
one set of skins in this battle pass, you know, like
Yeah.
so I don't know that it's like a apples to apples comparison there either.
It's absolutely not.
Yeah.
But like I feel like most of the reaction to this trailer has just been people tried to set their expectations and they didn't set them low enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yep.
I don't say that in a sense of why would you have any hope for Bungie?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
but
Well, no, but they tried to tell us, and like I have been saying and beating this drum for a while is like, you should have low expectations because they keep repeating over and over. We can't put out the amount of content we did last year for the annual pass, which I said from the beginning I didn't really like. Other than Season of Opulence, I didn't find like Season of the Forge or Season of the Drifter particularly compelling. So to say it's going to be even less, I knew that this was going to happen, and I was like ready for it. And anybody who was expecting more, I don't know where you were getting that from or what you were basing it on, you know?
Well, Jack makes a point in chat. It's a sad state of affairs to set expectations lower, but like, hear me out, right? So Destiny up to this point has been a game that for most of the people at this point still in the community, it's the only game they play. A lot of Destiny players only play Destiny.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that right now.
You shouldn't. Not only should you not be doing that right now, but Destiny up to this point has done an awful job of encouraging you to go play other games. And that's something really important that games have to do so that you don't rip the game apart and sit there after a DLC 2 weeks in and go, "Oh, I've got nothing left to do." Right? And this new season of content that we're getting with Season of the Dawn and before Season of Undying, it's not designed for you to mainline Destiny. It's not. It's designed for you to play for 2 weeks here, a week here, do your things, get in, get out. It's not that. Okay, hold on, I'll get to it.
That's hilarious.
It's not designed for you to get in and be a super end game player and grind nonstop. And that's the disconnect, is people are like, we want that. And Bungie's like, we can't give that to you. Yeah. And it's because we had it in the past that people are having a problem breaking expectations. If Bungie were to tell me individually, hey, this is designed for you to play 2 days out of a week. This is designed for you to play 3 days out of a week, an hour out of 1 week.
Well, they're actually trying. They used to say that kind of stuff, and they've tried to move away from that because they like back in Destiny 1, like I remember they used to say play other games and stuff like that all the time. And then like as Destiny 2 started to move towards Forsaken, they said they wanted to make this game more of a hobby. It's just I don't think they can keep up with the content demand to really like appeal to the enthusiasts like they want to. I don't think it'll ever get to that place, unfortunately. So you just have to enjoy it. Yeah, you have to enjoy the content when it comes, and then be ready to do other stuff like play Halo Reach. Halo Reach is great, guys. You should go play it. It's cheap. If you have Game Pass, you get Game Pass for 3 months for $1, so you can't beat that. $1, you get to play Halo Reach. Hell yeah. You might even get to play Halo CE by the time that 3 months is up.
I signed up for Games Pass Ultimate, and I paid my $1, and I went in to turn off recurring billing so it didn't dick smack me with a $45 bill in 3 months.
Yeah.
And I guess what it did was it just combined my Xbox Gold and my Games Pass. So I have Games Pass Ultimate until like August of next year.
Dude, I have Games Pass Ultimate until 2022. 3 years.
Jesus.
Because like they had that deal going to just upgrade all of it for $1, and that's what I did. So
it was actually a promo, Jake. It was intentional. You know what, dude? That's fine.
It's just they did a terrible job explaining that, Kez. Like I tried so hard to tell people about this, but it's confusing. It's like no, you can upgrade it for $1, and they're like, yeah, but that's only for 1 month. It's like, no, that's not what it says. You have to like go ahead and buy Games Pass, or you have to buy Xbox Gold, even if you don't have an Xbox, just because that's cheaper. If you want the PC games, and then you can upgrade all that time for $1, and they're like, what? You know, it's like, I don't know. Microsoft didn't do a good job of explaining this. Just let me buy it directly.
I think it's one of those things. I'm just gonna start telling people. They're like, oh, it's only 3 months. I'm just gonna ask them, how long do you have gold for?
Right.
And then they'll be like, I
But
have
what if
6
they
months.
don't
Okay,
like?
go
What if
do
they
the
don't
dollar.
have an Xbox at all? They won't have any gold. You know, then you got to tell them they have to buy gold, and they're gonna be like, "Why? I don't have an Xbox." And you're like, "Because it's cheaper that way."
Well, I mean, it's still 3 months of Games Pass on PC for
Yeah.
$1, right? Like
Yep.
that's still insane.
Yep. Yeah.
Microsoft out here clapping cheeks this year, man. Thanks, boys.
But all right, guys. Well, that was episode 88. Thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. It was a good episode. Thanks for being on, Jake. Once
I'm
again.
glad I made it.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it too. This was going to be a lot less interesting with just me.
I had a good time sitting here chatting with you and chatting with chat. You know,
Awesome.
Destiny is a weird mistress. Even when it's at its lowest and we are all angry, we can
Yep.
talk about it for many, many, many minutes.
We'll have more to say about this stuff when we get a chance to play it next week. So, see you later, guys. Peace.